To really get to know yourself, a spiritual rebirth is necessary. Your body died and was reborn thousands of times, and yet you did not get any closer to yourself. Not the body has to die and be reborn again. You have to die psychologically in this body and in this life, and then you can be reborn with a new consciousness. Consciousness is the only reality, and there is no such thing as rebirth or reincarnation of consciousness. Consciousness was never born and will never die, so it cannot be reborn either. It is always one indivisible, eternal unity. From the point of view of consciousness, there are no previous or future lives, only one eternal life. Life is consciousness itself. You are this consciousness, you are life itself. The idea of reincarnation is based on the belief that there exists a personal soul. According to the theory of reincarnation, the personal soul gets reincarnated again and again in different bodies across generations. But the personal soul is an illusion. There is only one soul which is called consciousness, and it is not personal. Consciousness does not belong to anybody. It cannot be owned. Even the idea of somebody comes to existence in consciousness. Not the somebodies contain consciousness, but consciousness contains somebodies. The existence of somebodies is an illusion, while consciousness is the only reality. There is nothing personal in consciousness. On the circumference, the illusion of separate entities exists, but in the center, everything and everybody is one. Consciousness is like an infinite energy field similar to an ocean. This field contains different levels that are also part of consciousness. There is the material, the energetic, the emotional, and the mental level. When the wind stirs the water of the ocean, a wave is created, and consciousness manifests on a visible level. Matter, energy, emotion, and thought compose themselves in a new form, and a baby is born. But this movement is only an illusion in the ocean of consciousness. So the ultimate reality is that you do not have a personal body, energy, emotion, or thought. All of these only flow through your consciousness like a wave. But you make the mistake of identifying with them. You believe that you are moving, you are feeling, and you are thinking. However, you only perceive these different kinds of energies and many times get attached to them. It depends on your consciousness, which parts of the energy field you perceive and attract to yourself. As every wave has a form, in the same manner, your consciousness can have different patterns. These patterns consist of distinct thoughts, emotions, energies, and behaviors. The form of one wave defines the form of the next wave, and so on. In the same manner, one pattern of consciousness creates a wave in time. These patterns are inherited from generation to generation and from body to body. In this sense, there is reincarnation. The movement happens on the surface of the ocean. But is there a real change in the ocean itself? No, because the ocean will be the ocean, no matter if it is moving or not. You may believe now that you have a soul, which will be reborn in a new body in your next life. Then there is someone else who also has a personal soul, which will be reincarnated in his next life. But in fact, you are the only soul or consciousness, and you do not exist as a person, as a separate entity. You cannot say I, or if you say it, then the whole universe is contained in this I. You either say everything or nothing, but the two mean the same. You and this someone else do not exist as separate entities. He does not have a soul, and he does not have a next life, and neither you do. This other person is not different from you. There is only one life, and you are this life. You cannot possess anything, because the being that could possess is non-existent. Also, there is nothing to possess, because the world and its objects do not exist in themselves. You cannot own anything because you are everything. The creation of the world depends on the observer of the world. The perception and the creation of the world happens in the same moment, from moment to moment. Consciousness is not in your body, but your body is in consciousness. You are not inside the world is inside you. You are not born into this world, but a world is born inside you. You do not die in the world, but the world dies in you. You are not reborn in the world, but the world is reborn in you. This rebirth I am speaking about is not the traditional one. It is not that the same consciousness is reborn in a new body, but just the opposite. A new consciousness is reborn in the same body. By unconsciously reincarnating over and over again, you will never get closer to yourself. You can only get to know yourself by being more conscious. You need a psychological rebirth, not a physical one. There is no continuity between the old and the new. It is a total transformation. To be more precise, the new, the real, has always been deep inside you, but you could not see it from the old. The work is to delete the fake to see the real. The one who dies is your personality, and the one who is reborn is your individuality. They cannot exist at the same time. You made the mistake of giving attention to the false, so it became your reality. You were paying attention to the outer world instead of the inner. You were listening to your fears instead of your inner voice. You gathered the past like the dust, and you define yourself according to it. To throw away your personality, you have to throw away the past. Not just the bad, but also the good memories, all of it. But you are afraid to throw it away because you do not know who you would be without your past. Instead, you are protecting it like a treasure. But what you see as treasure, I see as rubbish. You actually covered your real treasure with this pile of trash. You can never be satisfied with your personality. Your ego will never be fulfilled. It always wants more. It is never enough. Deep inside, you want to experience the lost wholeness, holiness. That is why you are filling yourself with rubbish, hoping to be full one day. But even if you become the greatest, the most famous, or the richest man in the world, you will still feel empty inside. Until then, at least you have hope. But when you reach the top, you will feel tremendously hopeless because you reached your goal, but you feel more lost than ever. You filled yourself totally, yet you feel totally empty. You can never be whole and happy by feeding your ego. The ego is just the shadow of yourself. You are offering food for your shadow and hoping to fill your stomach with it. The treasure you are seeking cannot be found outside because it is hidden underneath the pile of rubbish that you gathered during your life. To be able to find it, you have to clean yourself. You have to throw away all those unnecessary things that were either forced upon you or you collected yourself. Your parents, your teachers, your friends, your priests, and the rest of the society hanged its ornaments on you, and now you feel and look like a Christmas tree. The ornaments are hanging on the natural tree in the same way your fake personalities are attached to your true individuality. You are even showing off your fake beauty to others and keep on hanging more on yourself. You do not realize that you are the tree and not the ornaments. The decoration is bogus and dead, while the tree is natural and alive. Shake yourself and let the ornaments fall down to the ground. Throw away everything that was forced upon you, everything that was told about you, and everything that you think of yourself. I can assure you they are not true, because even the concept of a personal self is fake. Actually, your self-image is constructed from these ornaments. So when you throw them away, everything falls from you at the same time. Be brave enough to face your own natural, wild, pure, innocent, and true face. That who you truly are. Personality speaks to you with fear, while the voice of individuality is curiosity. If your curiosity is bigger than fear, you will be able to gather the strength to take the first steps towards yourself. If something pulls you and pushes you away at the same time, if you feel curiosity and fear towards something, it is guaranteed to take you closer to yourself. A real challenge, a real adventure is always dangerous, but still, you choose to go because curiosity leads you towards the unknown. The biggest challenge in life is to meet your real self. On the one hand, your personality likes the known and avoids the unknown. On the other hand, your individuality would always choose the unknown. It would always take you alone to the dark forest, fearless of uncertainty. Always choose the unknown, the uncertain, the fearsome, the attractive. Choose present instead of future, your own voice instead of the opinion of others. This way, you peel off your personalities layer by layer and get rid of the dust you collected. In the end, nothing else is left but the seed of individuality. This seed is your center, your real source. One day, you will have to throw away even this seed. You will have to crack it and look inside. You will find nothing there. But this nothingness is not empty. It is completely full. Emptiness is fullness. Nothingness is everything. Everything is nothing. This will be the day you find your real treasure, when you find wholeness. For now, you have to let this seed become a sprout. It is not a real action, but a happening. You just had to clear the dust from its way, and now step aside. Nourish it with your love and attention, and do not put any more rubbish on it. This is your only job. The small seed will start to grow roots inside you, going deeper and deeper. Later on, it will start growing on the surface and becomes visible. A big and beautiful tree can grow from it one day. But until it is small, you have to take care of it like your most precious treasure. I take away everything from you and do not give you anything. But what you see as everything, I see as nothing. What you see as real and precious, I see as fake and worthless. You are afraid that if I take everything from you, you will be left with nothing. What you see as nothing is really everything, wholeness itself. My work is only to destroy your illusions. I cannot give yourself to you since you have always been yourself. The seed has always been inside you. I just peel off the cover. Let me do this. The more you are attached to it, the more it will hurt. The relationship between the ocean and its waves is a perfect example of the relationship between consciousness and ego. Imagine that you are in the middle of the ocean, where you see nothing else but the ocean and the waves. Consciousness is like an all-encompassing ocean, formless, timeless, infinite, unchanging, universal, and one. Everything is based on it. Everything is part of it. It is the beginning and the end of everything. While the ocean has an absolute existence, the waves are relative. Their existence depends on the ocean. They are part of the ocean. They cannot exist in themselves. Until the ocean is silent, it exists as pure consciousness. When the ocean is stirred up by the wind, the waves come into existence. The wave is like the ego. It is finite, limited, changing, and appears in many forms. While there is only one consciousness, there are many egos. The ocean is a multidimensional field of awareness. From a spiritual point of view, it is consciousness. From a physical point of view, it is matter. From an energetical point of view, it is energy. The ocean is all of these at the same time. When a new human is born, he is like a new wave on the ocean. Consciousness, energy, and matter take up a new, unique form. Nothing more happens. No new consciousness, energy, or matter is created. They simply change. Like the wave, you are also constantly in a movement. You are a process. Body, energy, and ego are constantly changing. When the wave finally fades away, its form disappears. but its nature remains the same. When one part of the ocean rises from the ocean, a wave is created. On the surface level, the wave perceives millions of other waves around itself. Every wave has its own unique form, and they are separated by distance. In the eyes of the wave, all the other waves have their own distinct lives, and they are separate from each other. The surface of the ocean seems to be a constantly changing, dangerous, but interesting world. For most people, the world looks like this because they live on the surface. But what happens when the wave looks inside itself? Suddenly, it notices the ocean and realizes that it's not only a part of the ocean, but also the ocean itself, just like every other wave. Suddenly, the realization happens that nothing exists except it. Everything is only a manifestation of the ocean. The biggest question in the life of a wave is this: does it see itself as a wave or the ocean? In fact, what is the difference between the ocean and the wave? Oceanness is the basic nature of the wave, just like consciousness is the basic nature of the ego. The ego is that part of consciousness which identifies itself with body and mind. It is not really a part because separation is only an illusion. Just like the ocean is not only the sum of its waves, consciousness is not the sum of egos. There are really no parts because everything is one. Everything is the ocean. The wave does not exist in itself. It is only a movement of the ocean. So, if you would like to know truth, you only have to look into yourself. If you think you are a wave, you identify yourself with an ego. If you know that you are the ocean, you are living as pure consciousness. The wave can end in two ways, consciously and unconsciously. When the wave flows back into its source, still identifying itself with its form, its death is unconscious. The ego fades away, but its energy remains and creates a new wave in a new life. The desires and patterns contained in the wave will be inherited by the next one. Conscious death is the death of the ego in the living physical body. The wave realizes its true nature, which is oceanness. Conscious death is a total death because it doesn't create another wave. The energy of the wave simply melts back into the ocean forever. Nature is in a constantly changing dynamic state of equilibrium. It is always in motion, but always in balance as well. Returning to the center, to the point of equilibrium, is the secret of harmony. As you are also part of nature, the way to your inner peace and harmony also comes from balance. The body-mind needs to be in a state of balance on every level so that you can go beyond it. You need to balance your way all through the path of enlightenment with the attitude of a rope dancer. You need to stay completely calm and totally awake all the way. If your attention slips for a moment, you find yourself out of the present moment, either in the past or in the future. If you take even just one step unconsciously, you may lose your balance. If you don't correct your fault, you may easily fall off the rope. At the same time, if you are not relaxed, you tend to strengthen your muscles and walk convulsively. This way, you will lose your harmony with the rope, become too inflexible, and fall on the ground. If you want to walk on the spiritual path and switch off your mind, you need to be in a state of total relaxation and total awareness. Staying calm means that you know everything is all right and you are safe. Thus, the mind won't think about survival because it is unnecessary. Staying awake means that you know the present moment is the only reality, so you only focus on that. Thus, the mind won't wander into the past or the future. It simply stops in the present. Staying in balance means that you avoid extremes in everything and always return to the golden mean, the optimal, the center. Physically, this means that you neither sleep too much nor too little. You neither exercise too much nor too little. You neither eat too much nor too little. You simply follow the natural biorhythm of your body. When you are hungry, you eat. When you are thirsty, you drink. When you are sleepy, you sleep. Don't try to guess what your body needs. Just listen to it and give it what it wants. Don't start fasting, don't torture your body, and forget about celibacy. In the womb, all your desires were fulfilled immediately, and you were completely happy there. So why do you think this doesn't work now? To forget about your body, to escape from its grip, to go beyond it, you need to give the body what it wants. The same is true for your emotions and thoughts. Normally, emotions move up and down on a sinus wave. Very positive emotions suddenly change into very negative ones. One moment you feel very low, then on the top of the world, and then again you sink into depression. This happens because your circumstances affect you too much. You are traveling on an emotional roller coaster and let your strings be pulled as if you were a puppet. You need to remind yourself that really there is nothing positive or negative. Every experience serves your learning and shines light on something you should notice. Duality is only in your mind. Everything is inherently neutral. This way, the sinus wave will slowly straighten and your emotions return to balance. This doesn't mean that you will become unemotional, though. You can experience real happiness only when you are emotionally balanced. The movement of thoughts is just like the blowing of the wind. It can very quickly push you out of balance. Almost all thoughts are related to survival. The primary function of thinking is to keep you alive. If you think your life is in danger, it is no use trying to soothe your emotions. Your mind will keep returning anyway to certain problems that endanger your survival, which will stir up your feelings. This is why you need to stay in balance on every level, even financially. Nowadays, money is the most important tool for survival. Don't have too little money, but also don't gather too much, because that also leads to problems. Then you will worry about losing the money you collected. You should have so much money which satisfies your needs and provides your freedom. Furthermore, you need to get rid of your constantly returning thought patterns, because they also take you to the extreme. Somebody is too much preoccupied with cleanliness, others with food or alcohol. Somebody wants to help everybody. Others want bad for everyone else. These patterns keep coming up and take you off balance most of the time. If you notice these patterns and simply start watching them without giving them energy, they will lose their power. If you manage to overcome them, you will naturally get into harmony and can easily walk along the rope where a new life is waiting for you. So, what I want you to do this week is to start living according to the golden mean. Notice and eradicate the extremities in your life and start returning to a natural harmony. Also, notice and eradicate the unnecessary things in your life and start returning to a simpler lifestyle. Make sure that you keep using all the practices you learned about being aware of your body, energy, emotions, and thoughts. Let these exercises transform you in the long run so that you can become a new, better version of yourself. Now it is really time to leave behind the ingrained limiting beliefs and immobilizing emotional patterns of the past. It is time to rise. It is time to be reborn.